Why is Rachel not fat?
We're gonna find out.
Say hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Poet. We're going to talk about some diabetes today, huh? Can you tell us what it's like for diabetes?
My mom has that.
Bum, bum, bum. But isn't that for fat people? We're going to ask Rachel some questions about diabetes.
Okay, what's the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes? Okay, so one of like the main differences is type 1 diabetes, your pancreas does not make any insulin at all. Like nothing.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just like a malfunction in how much it made, like it didn't make enough.
That's type 2. So with type 2, it either you have an insulin resistance, or your pancreas is making insulin, but your body isn't like using it as well as it should, or it just doesn't make enough. So with type 1, you don't make any at all. Yeah. Okay. So that's like the main difference, and then how it's developed is a little bit different too. There's still kind of like research being done on both. So just to kind of figure out like why either one gets developed. Type 2, they say it's more like kind of lifestyle, like weight and eating habits, things like that, and lack of exercise. Some people develop it, some don't. Same with type 1, some people develop it, some don't.
It's just random.
But with type 1, the immune system, your immune system works to fight off like foreign whatever in your body. So with type 1, your immune system does that, but it attacks the cells that produce insulin, thinking that, hey, like this isn't supposed to be here, so let me attack it and fight it off and destroy it, even though it was supposed to be there and be working. Your immune system's like, no, die. Yeah. So yeah, then your pancreas just kind of sits there like,
Thanks, guys.
yeah, like I would be helpful here, but you kind of attacked me. So yeah, so from there you have to take insulin through injections or insulin pump or
Okay. So you have the bad kind, right?
Okay, so the thing about this question is I don't necessarily think there is a bad kind or a good kind.
I like this question because
there is no bad kind or good kind. I don't think, either way it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want it. I do think type 1 is a lot more complicated to manage. It's a lot more work goes into it.
Is it?
There's a lot more to pay attention to, but with anything, with anyone, even if you're perfect health, you want to pay attention to your health and take care of yourself. So it's just a little bit more work goes into it, but I definitely don't think there's a good kind. So
yeah, definitely not. I was going to say, when I saw that question, I was like, no matter what you say on like which kind, if you say one is worse than the other, you're probably wrong, because like type 1 sucks, type 2 sucks.
Yeah.
They're both like,
it's almost like that. Okay, if you drown in 2 feet of water, or you drown in 10 feet of water,
what's
like
worse?
You still drown.
Suffer. And,
yeah.
You're still like in that pain and all that. Okay. Yeah. Did you get this from eating too much sugar when you were little?
No. Like I said, when explaining the difference, no, I didn't. I was diagnosed 4 days after my 3rd birthday. So, there's no possible way that I ate that much sugar in the first 3 years of my life when, obviously the first year.
Our parents are good parents, guys.
Yeah, that. So, 4 days after my 3rd birthday, my immune system just decided it wanted to attack my insulin-producing cells, and because it could happen like later in life as well.
It wasn't.
No, but because it can. You can develop it at any time. It's most commonly you develop it in like early childhood. But it could happen at any time. Adults could just out of nowhere.
Like 20 years old, 40 years old, all of a sudden, just type 1. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
that
not
makes
as
me want to know like how that your body just one day is just like, not making any more of this stuff.
Yep, pretty much. It's not as common later on in life, but it's still possible.
Question number 4. how are you diabetic if you're not overweight? Ultimately, you don't look diabetic.
Okay. So, as stated previously, lifestyle does not have anything to do with type 1. It kind of just happens. So, I can be diabetic and not be overweight. I mean, I weigh like 104 pounds, so I'm definitely not anywhere near.
Why don't you just diet and exercise?
Okay. So, again, like with anyone, diabetes or not, diet and exercise is obviously like important for being healthy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, with type 1, it is still really important to have a healthy diet and to exercise. That helps manage blood sugar. It helps keep it under control, but it's not gonna get rid of it.
That doesn't mean you need to like go on some crazy diet and lose weight, whatever else.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
Yeah. So I eat healthy, and I mean, I chase this thing around all the time. My son.
This thing.
I don't know if we're showing it. Showing it.
Him. But yeah, no, he gets into everything. So I mean, that's pretty much my workout every single day is chasing him and carrying him and all that. And then before that, I was a martial artist, and so I was pretty active. I was pretty healthy, and well, I am pretty healthy, and it's not gonna change anything. But same with type 2, healthy diet and exercise. It'll help manage and it all depends on like how you on how people manage it and everything too, because there are type 1s and stuff that they just don't care. They don't. Yeah. So they just I before finding out about Poet, I tested my blood sugar maybe 3 times a week when I, obviously you need to test like multiple times a day. And I was testing like 3 times a week. I was taking my long-acting insulin every day, but then like my fast-acting, I was kind of just
You didn't take anything regularly, but
yeah. So, but then like once I found out I was pregnant,
you did it here.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I need it because it's not just me anymore. Like I need to, take care. And even still, even now that
it was important before you were pregnant, but it really stuck out in your mind. You were like, okay, it kicked you into gear, and you were like, all right, I gotta really take this seriously now.
Yeah, and then even now that he's here and it's still I need to take care of myself to take care of him.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's not just me anymore. So I need to make sure I stay healthy and out of the hospital.
We're having a dance party over here. I'm loving it. Okay, next question. I heard if you mix insert random ingredients here and eat or drink it, it will make it go away.
Nope. So, I hear all kinds of crazy things. That
Magical remedies.
Yeah, people, I've heard of soaking okra or whatever and celery and club
Coconut
soda.
oil solves the world's problems.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna say it's not.
But yeah, no. If I mix coconut oil and cinnamon and unicorn's blood, it's not.
I love that answer.
It's not gonna cure me. There's no cure. So, I mean, if it was as easy as that, I'd be drinking that every day.
Everyone, so many people would already have figured it out, and this wouldn't be a problem. It is today. They would have figured that out forever ago. Awesome. Okay, what are ketones?
Okay, so ketones are, it's like an acid that, or a chemical, an acid that your liver produces.
Okay.
When you don't have enough insulin to burn off sugar or glucose or whatever you want to call it, so it burns off fat for fuel instead.
Oh, is that what that keto diet thing is?
Yeah, pretty much. So
I don't know anything about any of this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about the keto diet. It scares me. I know there are a lot of type 1s that
whenever
do
I see it, it scares me because of what you deal with, the ketones and whatever. I'm like, wait, that's the same thing. What?
Yeah,
Don't
exactly. But I do know a lot of type 1s do it,
do they?
And they're fine with it. But it personally, I heard that if you have a cheat meal or whatever, it can send those ketones into overdrive and pretty much put you in PKA. So you need to be really careful with it.
Yeah.
Again, I don't really know much about it. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've read and that's what I've heard.
Right.
So
your knowledge,
I'm just scared to try it because I don't trust myself.
Not that you need a diet anyway.
So I mean, those like without diabetes, like the keto diet is probably better because ketones in the body, it's not really gonna affect too much. But when you do have type 1 and even type 2, but more so with the type 1, ketones can really become like life-threatening and send you to DKA.
Is this a question or can I just... Okay, that is the next question. I was like, I think that's a question. I was going to ask, what is DKA?
So, DKA stands for diabetic ketoacidosis. I'm wondering if we're going to be able to hear it.
Maybe we should repeat that.
He's like, I'm just going to make all the noise. DKA is diabetic ketoacidosis, and so that's basically when you have like crazy amounts of ketones like in your blood, and that's when it can become life-threatening.
Okay.
And it can happen with when your blood sugar is too high.
Okay.
So when you have really high blood sugar, then you're more likely to have ketones if you're sick, if you're stressed. And then one of my old endocrinologists told me that like if you scare anyone, like if you scare them really bad and like make them jump and they test their ketones right after, they will show ketones.
No way.
Yeah. So so it's like stress and like things like that, but mostly it's mostly from high blood sugar. When I personally went into DKA when I was pregnant,
I was gonna say that probably contributed a lot. You're so cute.
So what happened with me was I actually had a UTI and I didn't know.
Okay.
So the infection caused the ketones because my blood sugar never went above 125.
I remember your sugars were fine.
It never went above 125 until after I was already admitted into the ICU, and then it went up to like 3 something or 4 something. I don't remember. But yeah, it was caused by UTI because my A1C was like 5 point something. My sugars never went above 125. And then, it was just an infection that I didn't know I had. And
that UTI is really common in pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then I didn't show any symptoms or anything. And then once I started getting like sick, like actually like I can't like function, then that's when I found out that I had a UTI. And then from there, there was the whole mess of, oh, it's just a UTI, go home. And then the next day, I checked my ketones myself and was like, okay, these are like ridiculously high. It's a little strip that you pee on that it changes color. And so the darker the color, the higher the ketones are. And it was like this really like dark, like darker than your shirt, purple. Like
My shirt is this thing.
yeah, so it was like, I don't want to say almost black, but it was...
tried to grab the sunspot. You like...
Yeah, so I don't want to say almost black, but it was really dark, and so I was like, okay, like, I need to keep an eye on this. I started getting sick.
We need to do a video of you just explaining your whole
my whole
nonsense.
Really.
Yeah.
You so cute. Elodie totally just gave me this look like, please tell your son to stop playing with my mom.
What does insulin do?
So insulin is what helps manage blood sugar. That's its main role, is to kind of, like if I eat a meal, carbs and sugar and all that, its like main role is to help kind of regulate and manage your blood sugar levels. So like after I have a meal, carbs are going to, turn into glucose from there, and that causes blood sugar to go up. And so when I eat, I take insulin, and then that kind of keeps it like,
it regulates everything.
Where it's supposed to be. And then if your blood sugar's high, you take insulin to bring it back down. If you take too much insulin, then blood sugar drops, and then that's treated differently. Yeah, it can be dangerous. So if blood sugar gets too high or too low, either way, it can be life-threatening.
Right.
Yeah, I take insulin when I eat, or if my blood sugar's high. Like a method to kind of calculate it. Like I'm not just gonna be like, I'm gonna take insulin and like do it and like hope.
Yeah, I've always wanted to know like how that works either, because I don't know any of that.
So for me, like I take 1 unit of insulin for every 8 carbs that I eat.
Okay. And for everyone it's different?
Yeah. So because everyone kind of like reacts to insulin differently.
Okay.
So right now I take 1 unit of insulin for every 8 carbs. When I was pregnant, I was taking a lot more because it was
accounting for a lot
being used differently. And then I take 1 unit for every 50 that my blood sugar is over 150. So if I'm at 200, then I take 1 unit. If I'm at 250, I take 2 units.
Okay, that makes sense. It's a good like reference scale. Okay, what is blood sugar?
Blood sugar is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically just the amount of sugar in your blood.
And that comes from anything you eat, like not just chocolate and candy, right?
Yeah, it can actually. So anyway, so one of the things that I hear a lot, like if I'm eating a cupcake or a piece of candy or whatever, is people are like, should you be eating that? Like, I don't think you're supposed to be eating that or whatever.
And I always thought that was the case too before I knew anything.
So one thing that I like to tell people is that a big bowl of spaghetti can do more harm than a lollipop. Yeah. So because it all depends on the carbs that's in it. It depends. So it all depends on like the carbs and all that. So then I just need to take insulin pretty much accordingly. Like if I'm going to have a lollipop that has 15 carbs in it, then, you know, I do 2 units of insulin. Yeah. And then if I have like a bowl of spaghetti that's like 50, then, you know, I'll do more. And that'll kind of just keep my blood sugar where it needs to be. Yeah.
Quick question, just my own thing. I don't know if it needs to be included or not, but how many units is like a one thing do?
One of my like insulin pens?
Yeah, like when you inject it.
So my insulin pens, I'll show you actually.
Okay.
It has like this little dial on it that it twists, and so then I can adjust how many units I need to take. And so I put it like a little arrow, like if I need to take 2 units, then I put it at 2. One of these holds 300 units, I think.
Oh, snap. Okay.
So I can, until the 300.
You're never going to have to take like 500 units, right?
Yeah, no. So sometimes I'll have to split it up. Like if I need to take, like, say I need to take 10 units and there's only 5 units left, then I'll split it. But side note, snacks have actually saved my life on multiple occasions when I have low blood sugar.
Were you born with this?
No, it was not.
You were
it just
past
it
3.
develops, yeah.
Just past 3 or right before 3?
It was 4 days after my 3rd birthday.
Okay. Wasn't sure. So you were saying before that it just happened.
Yeah.
It could happen when you're 40, it could happen when you're 2.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Okay. What do you do in the event of an episode blood sugar goes too high or too low? I think you kind of touched on this earlier.
I kind of have answered, like, as far as too high, you take insulin, it brings it down. If it becomes too low, then either like a snack or juice. I like to do a carb and a protein so that way it doesn't just drop again. So like I'll do like crackers and peanut butter, and then or I'll do like juice or
peanut butter sounds good. Maybe I am. Okay. So how are your friends, family, etc. able to help you? I would like to know the answer to.
It all kind of depends. For the most part, as long as you know how to take care of yourself, it is pretty self-manageable. But with that being said, when your blood sugar does become too high or too low, it can be very hard to do something for yourself. So as far as like family and friends go, just, you know, learn your diabetic person's like kind of like their, I don't know how to word it, like their traits.
With the signs of different things. Like,
yeah, because everyone kind of like they react differently. Like I know a diabetic friend of mine. I was complaining once about how high blood sugar headaches are the worst for me, and she said that low blood sugar headaches are worse in her opinion. And I've never had a headache when my blood sugar was low before.
Wow. So it's not like just yell at you when you have a cupcake.
Yeah. So if like, so for me personally, if like I seem like I'm just like spaced or like I'm shaking or I'm like sweating for no reason, like if it's not ridiculously hot and I'm like sweating, my blood sugar is probably low.
Okay.
So if you like kind of witness that, then just be like, hey, like check your blood sugar or whatever. And if I'm just like kind of like not like doing anything, then you know it probably like good. Like people that I'm around a lot, like
they'll notice the difference in your behavior.
Yeah, that I can become very, very like irritable when my blood sugar is low, and so I do kind of act out of character when it gets that way. And then you know, if you like want to learn how to like test the blood sugar or whatever, like just in case, like that's always a good thing to know how to do and to learn. And then
totally down to learn that. Not that we hang out much about this, but like just in case.
And then the other thing too is I actually was on Dexcom for a while. I've been wanting to get back on it. And so what that did was it was like a little device that went on my arm or my stomach or whatever, and it checked my blood sugar every 5 minutes and it sent the readings to my phone. So I didn't even have to poke my finger to check. I just had to look at the app on my phone, and then it had it where it could send it to 5 other people.
How did it check?
So
did it still prick you or what?
It was just a little plastic thing that was in my arm that it tested every 5 minutes, and then it sent the readings to my phone, and then my phone sent it to like my mom and my dad and Dexter.
Oh, so that's good.
Yeah, so they were able to look
even if they're not around you.
Yeah, so Dexter would be at work and he'd text me and be like, your blood sugar's low, like get a snap for her.
That's really good, especially for like kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like when they're at school or whatever, and not wanting to pay attention to all that, or don't understand the seriousness of it. That's a really good thing to have. Or on the opposite end, someone with
special needs or like elderly or some like anyone who like you need to sort of monitor a little bit better. That would be really helpful for us, like an extra, like a necessity.
So I have been wanting to get back on that because it was really helpful. It was really nice. And then as far as like high blood sugar, constant thirst, and then going to the bathroom a lot, and again like the headaches or like my vision will like kind of be off. So
I know that I felt like that before when like if I haven't eaten, especially during pregnancy, like when they do that glucose test. Like I remember like if you haven't eaten enough, like I get like the headache where I feel like my blood sugar's low, like I need some energy. Like I feel very like
you get lethargic.
Lethargic, that's the word. So I can get that, and I can only imagine like what it is for you to like regularly have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah. So then high blood sugar.
How does that feel?
That one's like the constant thirst, the going to the bathroom a lot, and then like I get like a headache, or the my vision kind of it's just off. And then like I remember in high school, because that was like during my time when I was like I don't need to take insulin. I remember after lunch, or my class, I was right after lunch, and I would leave there. It would be so bright outside that it would hurt. Like my eyes would hurt and they'd start to water really bad, and I felt like I couldn't open my eyes because my blood sugar was high and like the light was just, I was like, ugh. So then to help with that would be, learn how to kind of inject insulin, and so like all my family knows how to give me shots. Dexter even Addie knows how to give me a shot, and she's 9. She learned last year. I want him to learn how when he's old enough.
Mature enough to do it properly.
Yeah.
But like I'm sure Emily, like at this age, so like at when he's at that age, like once he's like 3 or 4, he'd probably be able to, if needed, not like a regular thing.
Yeah. So you know, Addie even learned like how to check my phone to see what my blood sugar was.
That's good.
She told me that she wanted to get the app on her tablet so that way she could just check, and then
That's really good.
she learned how to calculate the insulin. So she learned how to like prep it, dial it up, everything.
Yeah, I love how into it she got. Like she wasn't just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Like she really was interested in like it, you know.
Yeah. I had breakfast the other day and I started reading Harry Potter to her, and like mid-sentence she goes, "Mommy's into insulin." She's like, "You need to take it right now. Go check your blood sugar."
That is so good.
So yeah, she's really on it. But yeah,
Yours are fun.
so just kind of knowing the signs and knowing, like, seeing if like your diabetic person is kind of just off
Knowing
or
your person
acting,
because everyone's different.
acting like out of character or whatever. So
I like that.